Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Brian, and I hear you're thinking about getting your child a Switch. I think that is fantastic. The Switch is an excellent addition to every home. It's fun for all ages and can be the perfect system to introduce your child to video games. But I know a lot of parents have a lot of concerns about handing a child any gaming system or tablet, and the Switch is no different. Whether it be how fragile and expensive it is, the dangers of online gaming, mature, violent, or addicting games, or the epidemic of too much screen time are all specters that can leave any parent shaking in their boots at the very idea of buying their child a Switch. And that's ignoring how overwhelming it can be to shop for such a complex and foreign technology if you aren't a gamer and haven't been following all the advances in gaming technology over the decades. But good news, there are a handful of basic precautions you can take to mitigate many, if not all, of your concerns, and when it comes to what you actually need to buy, allow me to give you an absolute bare-bones buyer's guide for parents buying a Nintendo Switch. Because believe me, buying your child a Switch doesn't have to be scary. Now, as I said, this is going to be broad strokes basics. If you want to see a more detailed buyer's guide for the Switch 2 and its current games, I'll have that video linked somewhere above. Also, affiliate links to purchase all the products I discuss in this video will be in the description below. If you do end up purchasing any of the items, I'd appreciate if you used my links. I might get a commission, which would help me out a ton as I build my channel. Also, if you haven't already, consider subscribing for more buyer guides, reviews, tech takes, and more to come. And with that, let's talk about what you need to buy. Simply put, you'll need the system itself, a screen protector, a grip, a case, and games. You can also get an additional controller, but it isn't absolutely essential, though there are some advantages which I will get into in a moment. Now, when it comes to the system itself, you have four basic choices. From most expensive to least, you've got the brand new Switch 2, the Switch OLED, the Switch, and the Switch Lite. The Switch 2 has all kinds of high-end tech built in, 4K, high frame rates, mouse mode, and a handful of other performance boosts and nice-to-have features. But the biggest thing for the Switch 2 is it can play just about everything from the original Switch, plus all the new games to come. If the original Switch is anything to go by, it could have the better part of a decade of games ahead of it. To purchase the Switch 2, assuming you can find it in stock, it's $450 for the base system, $500 for the Mario Kart World bundle. My advice, just get the bundle. The game is great and currently the only actual Switch 2 game that's been released, unless you're watching this after July 17th, then you also have Donkey Kong Bonanza. But if you get the bundle, you save $30 on the game itself, well worth it. But as great as the Switch 2 is, there are some cons. The price, obviously, is high, and not just for the console. The Switch 2 specific accessories are more expensive than their original Switch counterparts. Now, you can use most Switch accessories on the Switch 2, though things like the micro SD express card for internal storage will be more expensive. Another con, size and weight. It has a bigger screen, which means bigger controls, bigger buttons, and more weight, all of which may be too much for little hands. Also, the magnetic Joy-Cons, the controllers on the left and right of the system, are not as secure as those from the original Switch, since they are now held on by magnets. This isn't a problem at all when handling the Switch 2 on its own, but if you add certain types of grips, specifically ones like the one I have here that allow you to remove the Joy-Cons without removing the grip itself, the magnetic grip may be compromised and the system may fall apart if your child holds it in a specific way. If you want to avoid these negatives and save some money, you can get either the Switch OLED or the standard Switch. The OLED is $350, the standard Switch is $300. They both play the same library of original Switch games and use mostly the same accessories. The only significant difference between the two of them is the bigger, brighter OLED screen on the OLED version. But The differences between them and the Switch 2, neither have the 4K, they don't have the high frame rates, and all the other new features from the Switch 2, nor will they play Switch 2 exclusive games. But they both play the entire 8-year library of Switch games, which is more than 15,000 games. And also, some new releases this year will have both a Switch and Switch 2 version, like the upcoming Metroid Prime 4 and the next Pokemon game. Both will be playable on the Switch and Switch OLED, not just the Switch 2. So they've still got some life in them, no question. They are also both smaller than the Switch 2, which may be a negative for adults, but could be a real positive to your kids, especially little ones with little hands. If the $50 doesn't make a difference, I say go with the OLED. It'll make the system feel more premium for longer, though as your kid gets older, they will likely want to upgrade to the Switch 2 eventually. And who knows, maybe there will be a Switch 2 OLED by then, only time will tell. If saving money is the primary goal, you'll want to go with the final option, the Switch Lite. At only $200, it is less than half the price of a brand new Switch 2. It is even smaller than the OLED or standard Switch, and it has even fewer features. Most notably, there are no removable Joy-Cons, and it can't be docked to a TV. It is handheld only. But these negatives, I think, are its biggest strengths when it comes to kids. As the smallest, it's easiest for them to hold. As handheld only, you don't need to worry about your child having to figure out TV settings, the dock, or taking over the TV when others are watching their shows. It's like a really advanced Game Boy, the kind I would have dreamt of as a kid. Also, it's the cheapest, which makes it not only more affordable, but something you have to worry about less. Between the lower price and the solid single body build, the no removable Joy-Cons, it's more sturdy, so that's just more peace of mind. It can play all the same games as the OLED and standard Switch and comes in different colorways, though I think Best Buy only currently offers a couple shades of blue, but there could be some refurbished ones out there of the other colorways. Without a doubt, the Switch Lite is the most kid-friendly version of the Switch, of any Switch, and would be my recommendation for most kids under 10. Outside of the system itself, as I said, you'll need a screen protector, a grip, and a case. The screen protector, just like the ones on your phone, should be tempered glass. All versions of the Switch have either plastic screens or a plastic film permanently attached to their screen. This makes them far more scratchable than any glass screen you've had on a phone or tablet in at least a decade. So the first thing you should do after opening the box is install that screen protector. The second thing you should do is install a protective grip. Just like the case on your phone, the grip can protect from minor drops, impacts, and scratches. But in addition, a solid, full system case will add additional stability for any Switch with removable Joy-Cons. My advice to you, don't buy any grip for your child that has removable Joy-Cons. Not the kill switch, not any of them. You want one like this one. It's the Finty Ultralight case for the Switch 2. This is not a sponsor. I just wanted to have one that I could use it as an example on hand. I got it for 25 bucks, and this thing is simple. It is sturdy. It keeps the Switch 2 together and adds a little bit of ergonomic for your child's hands. It's a little short for my adult hands, but should be perfect for a kid's. And even inside, it can hold 2 additional games. Ignore this plastic frame. It's these 2 games right there. This will obviously need to be removed anytime they want to access these 2 games, or to remove the Joy-Cons, or to connect to the dock and TV. But even though it will need to be periodically removed, at the moment, a grip like this is the best choice to offer the most protection to your child's Switch. You'll also want a case, either to store the thing in or to make it packable. There are cheap ones that you can start with, some even come with a grip. It's up to you. Some are huge and won't fit into backpacks but carry more stuff. Some are super slim but can't hold anything outside of the system itself. Just get the one that fits your child's use case best. And honestly, I don't think you need to spend a ton of money on it. Like I said, you can buy a controller. The Pro controllers are great, but overkill for kids. Get a cheap third-party controller, one you won't mind replacing after your kids have thrown it on the ground one too many times. The joysticks will almost certainly break on any controller you give them, so no need to go crazy on Pro controllers, but if you do, just note that the Switch 2 Pro controller won't work on any of the previous Switches, but all controllers will work on the Switch 2. And once you have all of that, you just need to grab some games. Keep an eye on the ESRB ratings. These are just like the ratings for movies, but instead of G, PG, PG-13, and R, it's E for everyone, E10 plus for ages 10 and up, T for teen, which is 13 and up, and M for mature, 17 and up. Every sales page and every box will have the ratings right on it, so stick to the age group appropriate for your child and you're good to go. There are a ton of reviews online. If you just Google best Switch games or best E for everyone Switch games, you'll have all kinds of recommendations. And also, your kid will probably have some games they already want to play, so if you're unsure, just ask them. Some of my favorites in the E for everyone range include Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart World. If you're getting the Switch 2, you don't need to get both, just get World for the Switch 2, 8 Deluxe for the Switch. Super Mario Wonder, Super Mario Maker 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons, Pokemon Arceus, Mario Party Jamboree, Legend of Zelda, Link's Awakening, and Echoes of Wisdom. And if you're willing to go up to 10 plus, you can't go wrong with Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Odyssey, or Smash Brothers. Honestly, I could go on and on. There's so many games in that range that are all very good. For some additional retro games, as well as the ability for your child to play games online, you'll need to get the Nintendo Switch Online membership. My biggest tip there is take advantage of the family plan if you have multiple kids, multiple Switches, or play games yourself as well. Hold off on the more expensive Switch Online Plus expansion pack for now. You can always upgrade later if your child needs more content or wants some upgrades for their games. Once you have all of that, you've got everything you need to give your child their brand new Switch. But before you do, I'd recommend opening up the box and going through the setup process so that they can play the system the second you hand it over to them. It would just involve packing it back up once the setup is complete, just to maintain the illusion that it was never opened. You can absolutely wait and allow them to be the first to open it up, but they'll have to wait a bit, maybe an hour, for you to get it charged and set up once they've opened it. Now, I know setting it up can sound daunting, but it's really not too overly difficult. To put it very basically, all you need to do is install that screen protector, charge the system up, go through the initial setup and update, which is super straightforward, just choosing a language, connecting to Wi-Fi, logging in, and doing a system update. The one additional step you will need to do as the parent is set up Parental Controls. To do so, you'll need to download the Parental Controls app onto your phone. Just make sure it's not one of their other Switch apps. If you are uncertain, you could just click on Parental Controls in the system itself, either in the initial setup or the system settings, and they'll give you a QR code to download the app. But don't get Nintendo News, don't get Nintendo Music or the Switch app. You want specifically Parental Controls. Once you have the app installed, you'll need to create an account for yourself first. Then you can make an account for your child. The system will walk you through pairing your app to the new Switch, and once you do all of that, you can set up all the parental controls for your child's Switch. Want to block games above a certain rating? You can set that in the app. Want to block all online chat or the use of the camera? That's in there too. It will even let you add individual friends of your child into an approved contacts list so they can play with their friends but not random people online. You can set bedtimes, you can limit game time per day, even going so far as to fully lock the system once your child reaches their daily limit. They can request additional time, and you can approve it if you'd like, straight from your phone. It's great. It's super easy. You can block certain games. You can approve certain games. There is so much you can control. I recommend you explore the menus and see just how much you can manage. One thing to note, however, these parental controls are for the full system, not individual users on the Switch. So if you have a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old sharing a Switch, you'll want to set the parental controls for the 8-year-old, but it will mean your 14-year-old has the same limitations. There's unfortunately no way around that other than fully suspending parental controls for your teen, or yourself for that matter, anytime you want to allow access to more games or more playtime. It's just the problem of having one lock screen that lets you into every account. Otherwise, if you set one for your 8-year-old and one for your 14-year-old, your 8-year-old would just need to pick your 14-year-old's account and they'd have no parental controls. And one final thing I would recommend for any parent is having a conversation with your child about what you expect from them when it comes to caring for the system, being responsible online, why limits are in place, and if you so choose, how they could earn expansions of those limits, or even how they could lose access if not acting appropriately with their new Switch. I think there are so many wonderful things about games, benefits for children and adults alike, but without question, there are dangers to them as well, especially when it comes to playing online. But with just some basic precautions, giving your child a Switch doesn't have to be scary. But what do you think? Are there any other steps parents should take before handing over the Switch to their child? Let me know in the comments below. I glossed over a lot of the settings and a lot of the details, so if you want me to follow up in a future video, just let me know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and make sure you are subscribed to see all of my future videos. Consider following me on Instagram and Twitch to be notified when I've uploaded a new video or to watch me when I play live. And if you are still here, thank you so much for watching. That'll do it for this one. Until next time, peace.